pressures of life at the top.
The news came as a major shock at Anfield, a hurriedly arranged press conference and the announcement, the closest guarded secret in English football.
I regret to announce that Kenny Dalglish told the board yesterday of his wish to retire as team manager. Ever since then, the board have made strenuous attempts to make him change his mind. As he will tell you himself, he's determined to give up active participation in professional football.
Dalglish himself had broken the news to the Liverpool board yesterday. His reasons were personal. He said he had no future plans in football.
As I said before, it's the first time I made a decision that's been beneficial to, or more beneficial to Kenny Dalglish than Liverpool Football Club.
The best job in football. In his first season as Liverpool manager, he won the FA Cup and the league, a double that even eluded Bill Shankly. But though he made a spectacular transformation from player to manager, at Liverpool he was expected to maintain that success. Much of the pressure came from himself. Watching his team from the touchline, he appeared to suffer agonies despite all the victories. Even so, his decision to retire was one of the most unexpected announcements ever made at Anfield.
We have no wish to see him leave, but reluctantly we have to respect his decision.
Dalglish never relished talking to the press, and he had little to say today to amplify his reasons.
I just felt that I'd gone far enough, and I didn't think that I could delay any longer. I thought if it was delayed much longer, it certainly would have been beneficial to me, and if it's no beneficial to me, I don't know how it could have been beneficial to the club. The biggest problem was the pressure I was putting myself under because of my desire to be successful.
But emotions have been strained off the field as well as on. Dalglish took over as manager the day after the Heysel disaster. Then there was the trauma of Hillsborough. He said it had been like losing 95 members of his family. Taciturn by nature, Dalglish preferred to let his team do the talking. This week in their 4-4 draw with Everton, they provided one of the most enjoyable cup ties for years, except perhaps for their perfectionist manager.
Are the champions and current league leaders, and the timing of Dalglish giving up has surprised everyone involved in football, particularly as the news comes just 2 days after the thrilling FA Cup replay with Everton. Kenny Dalglish has led Liverpool to 3 league titles and 2 FA Cup victories since he took over, but the pressure has been enormous. This morning at Anfield, where Kenny Dalglish has been since 1977 as player first, then manager, a press conference was called. Noel White, the Liverpool chairman, announces the decision.
Kenny Dalglish told the board yesterday of his wish to retire as team manager. Ever since then, the board have made strenuous attempts to make him change his mind. As he will tell you himself, he's determined to give up active participation in professional football. He has assured us that there is nothing we can do to alter his decision. We have no wish to see him leave, but reluctantly we have to respect his decision. We wish him every success for the future. We part on the most amicable terms, and it goes out saying he will always be welcome here at Anfield. He was an outstanding player, and his career as manager was every bit as successful. Ronnie Moran, who has been first-team coach for the last 8 years, takes over as acting manager for the time being. Thank you, gentlemen.
It's a decision that maybe people will find difficult to understand. This is a decision, really, that only myself could have made, and as I say, that would have been wrong if I'd have been trying to mislead people into believing that everything was fine with myself. I mean, as I said earlier, there's no problem whatsoever with the players or the club or any other forum that connects me with the job. It's just me as an individual had a problem, and the best way for me to solve a problem for myself is to take this action. And although people might feel disappointed, I think I'd have been more disappointed myself for going on and continuing at the end of the season and knowing in my own mind that I wasn't I wasn't perfectly happy in doing it. The club have been magnificent to myself, and obviously I hold tremendous respect and esteem and gratitude to the club and everybody connected with the club.
Spoke about that. Any other things you...
I think Alan asked what I was planning to do. I'm not planning to do anything, I don't know.
It is a very sad day for the club, a very sad day indeed. Nevertheless, we are in the business of playing football, and we're going to get down to playing it right away tomorrow. Another 2 important games coming up in the next 7 days. So we'd like all your assistance. You know, let's get on with the game of getting some results and maintaining our highly successful record here at Liverpool.
So Kenny Dalglish leaving Liverpool in his car. Earlier, he told the players. Here's Ronnie Whelan's reaction.
He's made his decision. Did you have any indication before this morning that he was even thinking about resigning?
No, the atmosphere we got when we come in, we knew something was going on somewhere, but we didn't know. We thought someone was signing, so it comes as a big surprise to us when he did retire.
The timing is very surprising for most people as well, because of course it's in the middle of the season. You've got a game tomorrow. I'd have thought that most people would have expected at least for him to wait until the end of the season.
I don't know. He has been under a lot of pressure of late. People telling him what teams to pick and things. It's finally got to him, and he's just had enough.
But you must be astounded all the same.
Yes, very. The last thing we expected when we came in this morning was to tell us he was retiring. But that's it. He's made his decision. We've got to get on with it now the rest of the season.
How is it going to affect the team, do you imagine?
We've still got the same players. It shouldn't really affect them. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully we can go on and win the league now. If not for ourselves, for Kenny.
The team's already headed off towards Luton, but what was the atmosphere like amongst them before they set off?
One of surprise, really. Then they were just straight away after the meeting, so I don't know what's going on in the coaching.
Of course, the speculation is now going to follow. Who will take over from Kenny? Have you got any ideas yet about who that might be?
No idea whatsoever. I'm sure they'll pick whoever they think is the right man for the job.
Ronnie Whelan as surprised as anyone. Well, Bob Wilson has joined me this afternoon. Your reaction, Bob, immediately?
I think like anybody connected with football, anybody in the country, I should think, Helen, really, absolute shock. I think you could see that on Ronnie Whelan's face. There was obviously great emotion with Noel White, but I think he stopped enjoying it. The pressure has got to him, you know, being the manager of Liverpool Football Club with a success that was started with Shankly, that has gone on with Bob Paisley, with Joe Fagan, and then Kenny has brought himself. I mean, Kenny himself did something that those great managers never did. He won the double, and so it goes on. 3 championships, 2 FA Cups. Suddenly this season again, people are saying, well, he's not buying the same players. He's not even buying players. He's put under pressure to buy players. When he buys them, people are saying they're questioning the players. Is David Speedy good enough? Is Jimmy Carter good enough? Of course they're good enough. The other night at Goodison, Everton had a magnificent draw. They came back and they held Liverpool. But during that game, Liverpool played some football that anyone anywhere around Europe would say, well, that's unbeatable. It's wonderful.
But why not wait till the end of the season?
I think it's just a case of the pressures that have got onto him, either on the transfer front, which is certainly one of the cases there. I think it is definitely a case of people saying, well, you know, putting him under the pressure and saying, well, Arsenal Football Club are challenging as they've never done before, that they've got a better squad than you've got. And it's a culmination of those things. And I don't think either you should underestimate the part that the family plays as well. Because no mention really has been mentioned really of Marina, his wife, and his children. But I think that could be a part within it. I think what you've got to bear in mind, Helen, is that Kenny Dalglish is not a naturally outgoing extrovert. Far from it. I mean, when I first met him in the football world, he made his debut for Scotland. Now, believe it or not, I was in goal for Scotland then. Slight difference in the careers. He went on to win 102 caps, and I managed 2. But at that time, he lived, ate and slept football. He was very, very intense. He remembered everything of the 2 games that I played, because he's often said to me, you played well against Portugal, but you cost us against Holland. He loved quizzes on football. That's the thing. I think that's the culmination of it. It's all part of it now, that he can do nothing other than eat, sleep and drink football. If you met him, he wanted to talk tactics, he wanted to talk football. He didn't have a natural switch off in that way. We worked together in the World Cup, the last World Cup, Italia 90. And I don't think there are I'm sure there are very few people other than perhaps his immediate family who can say, I really know Kenny Dalglish. He's a very private man, and he'll have taken on board all the criticisms and all the doubts that are put forward. And I think the timing is right for him. And for once, he's admitted, he said, look, it's for me. I know it's not good for Liverpool Football Club, but I'm thinking about myself. And he is an unpredictable character, a totally unpredictable character.
But as we said, so the timing seems so odd now. I mean, they did so well the other day. That still, I can't quite understand that bit.
No, well, there are a lot. I mean, Ronnie Whelan there was more or less suggesting that as well. But Ronnie Whelan is picking up, and he said what I think all the players will say. There are lots of things behind the scenes that you and I and nobody will really know about. Possibly the Liverpool players might know about, possibly the Liverpool board might know about. In due course, that may well come out. But he's looked at that, he's probably looked at that result as well, and he said, well, we're top of the first division, we are still in the FA Cup, we still have a chance to become the first club to win the double-double, as it were, but I am not enjoying it. It may be a case, Helen, that he's finding it more difficult to motivate players. There is a time that comes with managers. I haven't been a manager, but I do study managers carefully. And players are difficult. I think they become more difficult to deal with. And it's very difficult to go in and day out to not only deal with contracts and with the money that's available as well, but also to actually motivate them to play. And there comes a time when players say, I've heard all that before, even with a Shankly, even with a Bob Paisley, even with a Kenny Dalglish.
But wouldn't a holiday be better? I mean, what's he going to do now? He says he's quitting football.
I have to say deep down, my gut instinct is that he's going to go on a sabbatical. He's saying, this is it, I don't intend to come back into football. But my gut reaction is he is so steeped in football, he so loves the game of football, that after the sabbatical, the holiday, whatever it might be, that somewhere along the line he will be tempted back. I can't believe that we won't see Kenny Dalglish back within the game of football.
Well, nor can I. Now, let's look a little bit forward. What about the successors?
Well, Ronnie Moran, of course, who is immediately going to take over, was going to be, everybody assumed, the natural successor when it came to Joe Fagan leaving. Now, Joe Fagan left at the time of Heysel. And I think, Helen, we must just make a little point, if I don't mind, about saying the effect that Heysel had on Joe Fagan, obviously, because he left. That was Kenny Dalglish's beginning. But the Hillsborough tragedy, Kenny Dalglish handled himself in such an impeccable way there. I mean, nobody had, other than the highest praise for the way that he dealt with it and the way he helped those people who had suffered and the tragedies involved, and it was quite fantastic. Ronnie Moran was expected to be the natural successor, and he has been there now for 39 years, which is, in fact, he arrived at Liverpool in the year that Kenny Dalglish was born, because Kenny's only 39 years old now. So I think Ronnie Moran, if things go well initially, could well stay on and be the manager of Liverpool. Obviously, there's great talk about Graham Souness, with all the success he's had at Rangers in Scotland, and there's John Toshak, and there are others, Phil Neal. I think that if Ronnie Moran does well, and he's a wonderful character, totally different character, I might add, to Kenny Dalglish. He's bubbly, he'll go out of his way to see you and say hello to you. He may well be able to handle the media side a little bit better than Kenny, because he was always a little uncomfortable in the face of the camera.
Well, thanks very much, Bob. It's very interesting points there.
Manager of Liverpool Football Club. He blamed the pressures of the job for his decision. He's been with Liverpool since 1977, when he joined as a player. Liverpool's chief coach, Ronnie Moran, is acting as caretaker manager until a permanent replacement is appointed.
Dalglish stunned his board yesterday and the rest of football today with his bombshell announcement. They'd tried to talk him out of it, but he said he had personal reasons, there were pressures, and insisted it really was the end.
The biggest problem was the pressure I was putting myself under because of my desire to be successful. It's a decision that maybe people will find difficult to understand. This is a decision, really, that only myself could have made, and as I say, that would have been wrong if I'd have been trying to mislead people into believing that everything was fine with myself. I mean, as I said earlier, there's no problem whatsoever with the players or the club or any other forum in connection with the job. It's just me as an individual.
It's apparently the end of a fabulous career of an extraordinarily complex man. With Celtic as a teenager, 4 championships and 167 goals. To Liverpool, 5 titles, 173 goals. For Scotland, the most caps ever, 102, 30 goals. Liverpool manager, and straight away the league and cup double, and 3 championships in his 5 years in charge. A brilliant player,
and Dalglish goes through and scores!
And almost always a winner. He was often tense and moody in management, and deeply affected by the tragedies of Heysel and Hillsborough. Tonight, among the adoring fans, just shock.
Absolutely stunned, sick. I just can't believe it, like.
It's like one of the family dying for me.
Just unbelievable. Nobody can believe what's after happening.
Last year's championship may have been Kenny's last. It almost certainly won't be Liverpool's. But football may have lost one of its greatest.
Burrows having to go back a long way, and look how Liverpool are being harried. But they still keep their cool. This is Beardsley. It's still Beardsley! What a goal! What a goal by Peter Beardsley! Newell. Hinchcliffe. Cutty! Unbelievable!
Good afternoon. We thought nothing this week could be more sensational than the 8-goal thriller at Goodison Park on Wednesday between Everton and Liverpool. Kenny Dalglish's resignation yesterday proved us wrong.
The biggest problem was the pressure I was putting myself under because of my desire to be successful.
As a player with Liverpool, Kenny won 3 European Cups, 4 League Cups and an amazing 5 Football League titles. As the demanding manager, the success continued. 3 league championships and 2 FA Cup triumphs. An in-depth look back at the Dalglish career coming up. We also hear from Ronnie Moran, loyal Liverpool servant and keen to make the manager's job his own. Joining us from Manchester, Tommy Smith, former captain and still very much a Reds fan.
The reaction from those present at Anfield yesterday was one of utter amazement. The Liverpool directors were ashen-faced as Dalglish started to outline the reasons for his resignation.
And it's just really a result of 20 years active involvement in football at a very high and successful level. That really Kenny Dalglish, the person, has pushed himself to the limit.
It was barely 12 hours after the end of the game, already being hailed as the greatest Merseyside derby ever, that Dalglish had informed the club he wanted to go.
As I said before, it's the first time I made a decision that's been beneficial to, or more beneficial to Kenny Dalglish than Liverpool Football Club or anybody else connected with it. I just felt that I'd gone far enough and I didn't think that I could delay any longer.
The Liverpool first-team squad were told just before they left to prepare for today's game with Luton. Not travelling was injured skipper Ronnie Whelan, who, like most people, was struggling to quite get to grips with the timing of Dalglish's departure.
The last thing we expected when we came in this morning was to tell us he was retiring. But that's it, he's made his decision. We've got to get on with it now the rest of the season.
As expected, the message from inside Anfield was that they wanted to promote from within.
We'd like to think that will happen again because it's been so very successful, that formula, hasn't it? So we'll be looking very closely at it over the next few short period of time.
Having played over 500 games for Liverpool and with a record 8 championship medals, Alan Hansen is strongly tipped to now join the management team and take his place in the famous boot room, and maybe in the top job. But after 39 years at the club, it's Dalglish's right-hand man, Ronnie Moran, who's taken on the role of caretaker manager. He's definitely the most experienced person for the job and is ready and willing to take it on board. Moran, a former player, he's been at the club ever since Bill Shankly created the Anfield dynasty. But while he prepares for today's game at Luton, many people in football still can't fathom out the timing of this Anfield twist. Everyone knows Kenny Dalglish is his own man and now respect his wishes, but only his family and those closest to him really know the background to what the traumatic pressures of the last few years have really done to him. To say the football supporters in the city of Liverpool, red and blue alike, were shocked by yesterday's announcement is a complete understatement. As a player and as a manager, Dalglish helped bring continued success to Anfield, but he also helped steer the club through the 2 tragedies of Heysel and Hillsborough. In Liverpool, the feeling is still one of complete astonishment that he should resign at this stage of the season.
Ray Stubbs reporting. Joining us now from Manchester, the former captain of Liverpool, Tommy Smith. Tommy, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Bob.
I heard you at half-time in the Goodison game the other night, Tommy, very forcibly praising and very eloquently praising Kenny and Liverpool's abilities to withstand pressure on and off the field. This must come as a tremendous shock.
Well, it does, and I mean, I saw Kenny after the game, and he didn't give any indication to anybody, and myself, what he was going to do, and it's come as a complete surprise.
Is it simply a case of pressure, Tommy? That's what he's saying, pressure that he's put upon himself.
I think so, because Kenny's a very truthful person. I mean, I do know him, not sociably, but I do know him through the football club, and most things he says, you know, he means. I mean, the media had a lot of trouble with him because basically, for one, I used to say that they couldn't understand him, but I think he's his own man, and what he says I really think is true.
Do you think it's a case of not enjoying it? I mean, has he ever enjoyed being a manager?
I think he's enjoyed it, but I think as you get a bit older, you do tend to miss the playing days, and I know he's past that, but the pressure at Liverpool, if you can imagine the pressure that one or two smaller clubs get through maybe having to sell players and that, the pressure at Liverpool is tenfold, because I mean Kenny has only got to do something out of the ordinary, and I mean the media are down on his back.
But he's also sensitive to criticism, isn't he? And just lately, there's been all sorts of criticism. There's been criticism of his buying or not buying, and then when he bought David Speedy and he bought Jimmy Carter, criticism of the buying. He's also had this little thing going about Peter Beardsley and the non-selection of Peter Beardsley. Does it play any part?
I don't think so. I think the pressure builds up basically through results and what have you, and to attain those results. I mean, I don't think anybody's questioned his buying or anybody's questioned his team selection. There's been mutterings, but at the end of the year, he's always come up with a trophy. So those people who do disagree with him, and you're quite entitled to disagree with him, often are pushed into the background. But I don't think it's got anything to do with Peter Beardsley or anything like that. The papers are trying to speculate why, and myself, I honestly think that he's just had enough. The pressure's got to him. I mean, people say, why is he sort of jacked it in now? Well,
it's not a good timing though, Tommy, is it really?
Yeah,
I mean, it's the top of the table. The championship is there still, up for grabs. The double is still on, albeit with a difficult replay again at Goodison.
Well, yeah, but how do you explain, if you like, I mean, an oil well in the North Sea blows up, but you can't guess when it's going to be because the pressure is so much, and it's just like the job at Liverpool. A lot of people don't realise that, OK, he's managing a great club, it's a good club, good players, but you've got to maintain it, and I think that's where the pressure comes from. And you don't know when anybody's going to... he's possibly doing it for his own health. I saw him yesterday on the TV, and he didn't look at all well to me.
Just one pointer, Tommy. We're led to believe that Noel White and the board said to him, look, Kenny, go away, have a little rest, have a sabbatical, come back when you want to, we'll keep the ship going until you arrive back.
I think that's what they've probably done. I mean, I believe they were in a meeting for 5 hours, and at the end of the day, I think, honestly and truthfully, Kenny just has had enough. He's been at the top for so long. The pressure has finally got to him, and he just doesn't want any more pressure from anything but his own pressure. Like he said yesterday, for the first time in his life, he's thinking about Kenny Dalglish, not Liverpool Football Club.
Just tell me very briefly, Tommy, at this stage, the reaction of the fans on Merseyside.
Well, there was phone-ins last night on the local radio. I was at a dinner last night, and not one person came up with any stick for Kenny in any shape or form. I mean, people were thanking him on the radio and that for basically doing what he's done for Liverpool Football Club. I think people do realise that he has got a bit of a problem with the pressure, and I think they're understanding enough to realise that with a club like Liverpool, OK, Kenny is a major part of it, but he's not Liverpool FC. Nobody is bigger than the club. If Kenny goes, somebody will replace him. I mean, but when Bill Shankly retired, there was the same reaction. When Bob Paisley, Joe Fagan, it still carries on because it's on firm foundations, the club.
Do you think, Tommy, that Hillsborough, the tragedy of Hillsborough, played any part in this decision?
I think so. I honestly do think so. I mean, I still get ramifications from Hillsborough. I was at the game, and I mean, every time you go to Anfield, you pass the little monument that's there for the people who died. It really did affect the people of Liverpool, and I mean, if you were in charge of the team that actually not so much caused the situation, but it was created out of a game, I think it's left scars with him, yes.
Tommy, stay with us. I want to come back to you, but we're going to hear now from the man who's been put in charge of the Liverpool team. Great character, great servant to the club, Ronnie Moran. He's been talking this morning to David Davis.
Ronnie, how much of a surprise was it to you that Kenny went?
Well, it was a big surprise to me. I think it was just like when Bill Shankly announced his retirement. I mean, the first news I had, it was when Kenny himself phoned me up at home about 8:30 on Thursday evening. And at first, with being a bit of a joke with one another, I thought he was having a joke with me and I sold him so. But no, then I suddenly realised he was being honest about it. He said, I'm packing up. And so that was it.
If anything, it's a bigger shock than Shankly going, isn't it?
Well, it probably, on our young years, it probably is. And but anything happens in football. I mean, I've been in it that many years, and I don't call them shocks. I call it just part of football, and we've just got to carry on what's left ahead of us.
Just part of football. Kenny's talked about the pressures. Do you know what the pressures were?
Well, I haven't been a manager in football. I've only been on the training and coaching side all my life, and it's a bit different than that. I mean, in regards to the manager's job, I mean, there probably is bigger pressures with day-to-day involvement in the game and transfers and selections of teams and press, television and all this. I suppose that could get through to you, but I don't know because I've never done it.
Were you aware that the pressures were getting to him though?
No, because even in the afternoon before I left the club, Thursday afternoon, I was speaking to Kenny about the squad to come down here for Luton, and he had no inclination that he was going to pack in.
Some people, outsiders watching him standing throughout a game, might say he seemed to have lost a bit of enjoyment from the game, which I know you've always had.
I don't think so. I mean, he came down training every morning. He joined in the small-sided games that we had, and he still wanted to win his games. He enjoyed that, and he looked forward. He was always disappointed we weren't going to have a game with the players. A bit like Shanks on this way. He always liked his game, and if he didn't get a game, he didn't enjoy the training session.
So how have the players reacted?
Well, we had a training session yesterday. I had a word with the players, and they're professionals, just like I've got to get on with the job I've been given by the chairman at the moment. And they reacted well yesterday. And as I said, being good pros, they've got to get on with the job. They can't mope around and feel sorry for Kenny because they've got to earn the living and they've got to work for Liverpool Football Club.
Is it going to change you and your role?
In what way?
Is it going? Are you going to wear a suit?
Oh, no. I'll stick to my tracksuit. I'll always stick to my tracksuit, sat on the line. I mean, that's what I've done all my life. I'm not going to change now.
You've seen managers come and go at Liverpool. You've seen, what is it, four managers, four managers?
Well, I've been there all my life, and I mean, counting, I wouldn't like to go through the number that's been, but George Kay was the first one. But I mean, since then, Don Welsh, Phil Taylor, Bill Shankly, Bob Paisley, Joe Fagan and Kenny.
When you first went to Anfield, would you have ever thought, one day I'll be the manager?
No, I only went there as a schoolboy, 15-year-old. I mean, I just went there, signed on amateur forms and played right throughout the teams, and then Bill Shankly offered me a job on the coaching staff. And I started off with the kids, coaching them, and then moved up to the reserves, and then with the first team in 1974.
So this is a very big day for you?
Not necessarily. I mean, to me, it's a big day as every match, and to me, I'm worried more about the reaction of the players. I want them to go out and do the stuff for themselves and for the club. That's the main thing at Liverpool, which we've always worked on, and no individuals come into it. I mean, I enjoy every game, especially if we win it. If you lose, you've got to put a brave face on and try and sort problems out during the game, half-time. But after the game, you can't do nothing about it. You just got to carry on ready for the next game.
There's no question that Ronnie Moran wants to be the full-time manager of Liverpool.
Well, I was told by the chairman to take charge of team selections for today, and that's as far as I'm going on that. I'll wait to see what happens after today when I go back to the club on Monday.
Can I ask you one final thing about Kenny's departure? There's been talk this morning that what happened at Hillsborough affected him more profoundly than had perhaps been thought, even at the time.
Well, it affected a lot of us in one way, the Hillsborough disaster. And, you know, as I said before, things happen in football, and I've been in it all my life, and you just got to take it on a par with everything else. Some are bigger disasters than others, and you've just got to carry on. I mean, life goes on, and you can't do nothing about disasters. you feel sorry at the time, and you always got them in your thoughts, but you can't mope about them. You've just got to carry on with life.
Ronnie, an awful lot of people will wish you well. Thanks very much indeed for talking to us.
Pleasure.
Well, David Davis said it all there. A lot of people will hope that Ronnie Moran will get the job. He really is a lovely man. Tommy Smith, lovely men don't always make great managers, but what is your reaction? You touched upon it a little bit earlier with me.
I think possibly Liverpool will go within the 4 walls they've got, and I think Ronnie has got to be favourite. And personally, if I was the chairman, I would go for Ronnie because he's been at the club an awful long time. He is a nice fella, Ronnie, but he's like most footballers. He gets excited, and don't get on the wrong side of him.
Well, you know him better than most, don't you?
Well, I played
You
with
obviously
him for a
have got on the wrong
seasons,
side of him somewhere along the line.
Ronnie knows the business. I mean, he's been in the game an awful long time, and you're not at Liverpool for an awful long time like that and know nothing. I mean, he's not just somebody who's going to be manipulated by anybody, and Ronnie's his own man. Every job he's done at Liverpool, he's done to the fullest of ability, and like you say, he always gives the club 100%, unless he wouldn't be there. I mean, personally, I would go with Ronnie.
You say, though, that Liverpool may keep it within their 4 walls. That is the Liverpool way. Alan Hansen remains within the Liverpool 4 walls, and this morning a couple of suggestions that Kenny is even saying give it to Jockey Hansen.
I think the thing is now that Kenny's left, he might give Liverpool some advice, but I think at the end of the day, the directors will make the decision. Kenny's advice might be taken, but if you look at the situation, Alan's only just sort of getting over an injury, and even though possibly he might not play again, I think he's just not at that stage where to take over as a manager. Whereas I think Ronnie, along with Roy Evans, who've been there for so long, could step into the job. You possibly there wouldn't be that many changes, and maybe Alan could move up to maybe Phil Thompson move up to first team coach, and Alan could take over the reserves.
So you would dismiss, Tommy, other suggestions, possibly like Graham Souness or Kevin Keegan or John Toshak?
Well, I think Toshi's been out of the game, or not so much out of the game, out of England for so long now, 6 or 7 years. I think to take him back would be a problem because he doesn't know what's going on in the league. I think Graham Souness has got that much involvement with Rangers, not only as a manager. I don't think he would come down. Like their chairman said, why should he go to take a step down in his career by going back to Liverpool? Which was only a pun on words, but at the end of the day, I don't see Graham coming down. Kevin Keegan, no, I don't think Kevin would relish the job either. I think they'll keep it within the 4 walls and just promote everybody accordingly.
Tommy, thanks very much for all your words. Pleasure to talk to you again.
Pleasure.
Well, that's Tommy Smith. Is it really the end of Kenny Dalglish's career in football? I certainly hope not. But if it is, his place alongside the greats is assured. A look back with Gerald Sinstadt.
Images that linger of a man whose achievements are forever. In sport, yesterday's superlatives become tomorrow's benchmarks, but Kenny Dalglish's record is carved in granite. Dalglish made his bow for Liverpool at Wembley in the 1977 Charity Shield match. He was to be the replacement for Kevin Keegan, who'd been the idol of the Kop, scorer of 100 Liverpool goals. Buying Kenny from Celtic for £440,000 was not a gamble. He was the finished article, 166 goals for Celtic. And 47 caps for Scotland, among them another 17 goals, none sweeter than the one against the old enemy at Wembley 3 months earlier. If adapting to the demands of Anfield was difficult, it didn't show. His first season ended where it had begun, at Wembley.
Souness, and there's Dalglish through, and is that going in? Yes it is, a goal for Liverpool by Dalglish.
Liverpool, champions of Europe. The next season, league champions. Dalglish, player of the year. A vote by the football press, seconded and carried unanimously by the tiered ranks of connoisseurs on the Kop. The next season, more of the same. Liverpool swept into the 80s as champions again. Kenny played in every game and scored 16 league goals in a series of inspirational performances. Anfield is the home of the team ethic. Dalglish contrived to be part of it and to transcend it. Season 80-81, to go with another triumph in Europe, a new trophy, the League Cup, won in a replayed final with West Ham.
And here's Dalglish. Oh, that's a marvellous goal.
Season 81-82, Liverpool on course for another league title. Dalglish had played in 4 championship teams in Scotland. This was to be the 3rd of his 5 in England. A decisive game at home to Tottenham.
Dalglish is through. Kenny Dalglish! And is that the goal which clinches the First Division title?
The cap size was unchanged. It was the trophy cabinet that needed enlarging. 1983 brought his 2nd Player of the Year award.
Gentlemen, there's not a lot I can say. There's probably not a lot you'll understand. But basically, it's just to thank everyone. The boss who signed me for Liverpool and who's helped me a great deal since I came here. The people who voted for me to win the award, which, as everyone has admitted, is very coveted, and especially the lads. Thanks very much. Thank you.
Neil's clearance to Dalglish, beautiful turn. Oh, and on for Rush, what a perfect through ball. And what a brilliant goal. Ian Rush celebrates the goal, but Kenny Dalglish, the creator supreme.
The paternal management of Bob Paisley ended with a transition Liverpool liked to think of as their hallmark. Paisley bowed out. Joe Fagan, one of his mates from the boot room, stepped forward. The Reds didn't break stride. On the way to a European Cup, League and League Cup treble, Dalglish scored his 100th league goal for Liverpool.
He's got it! That's the goal that Kenny Dalglish wanted. He's made history.
But the next season came the Heysel Stadium disaster. No one felt the effects more deeply than Joe Fagan. And so the awesome line of succession was joined by a new man. Liverpool acquired a player-manager.
I'd rather be in amongst them in the dressing room. But obviously you can't play forever, and it's something that you're looking to the future now, getting into management. So you've got to give a little bit to get a little.
The player who had so smoothly taken over from Keegan eased into his new role with comparable success. Another league title in his first season in charge.
And Dalglish is in here. Yes! The player-manager scores the goal that may edge Liverpool nearer to their 16th championship.
It was a season climaxed by victory over Everton at Wembley, the league and cup double, something none of Dalglish's illustrious predecessors had achieved.
And rushes on the far side. Is this 3? It is! Liverpool have won the double.
But a season of second best followed. What made it harder to bear was finishing runners-up to Everton in the league. Reconstruction was major. Peter Beardsley and John Barnes arrived to balance the foreseen departure of Ian Rush to Italy.
We've always had options here, and that's been the beauty. The people are prepared to sacrifice themselves for the sake of the team, and that's what it's been all about. They give you a good standard of performance in lots of various positions.
The Red Machine had a new engine. It left rivals, Nottingham Forest for example, standing.
Houghton, Barnes, Houghton goes again, he's through. Ray Houghton. Beardsley, he seems to be able to find space and find Aldridge. And that is another superb Liverpool goal. And Houghton. Aldridge is in there, so is Beardsley here. And Aldridge, Gillespie! Decisive finish. Barnes against Chettle. Oh, look at Barnes here. They're waiting for the pullback. Beardsley! Oh! glorious goal again. Oh, well played, Spackman. And Beardsley. And Spackman. And Aldridge. It's 5.
I think that's one of the finest exhibitions of football I've ever seen in my life. It was absolutely tremendous. I mean, well-deserved, and, you know, the skills and the speed the game was playing at was absolutely tremendous. And I came away thinking, well, I've been really entertained, and I'm sure that the whole of the spectators here saw an exhibition tonight that will never be bettered, I don't think.
The new men reclaimed the championship for Anfield. Dalglish was manager of the year. The double was odds on. But Wimbledon had a point to prove too. Typically, Liverpool bounced back, but a semi-final at Hillsborough changed football forever. Inevitably, perhaps crucially, it changed Dalglish too.
Kenny, it was an awful time. You and the players came to the comfort of a lot of the people who suffered, but your wives and your families got involved too. How did that come about?
Well, basically, the wives were in a position to help the families who had suffered more than ourselves, and they wanted to help, and obviously being in the position to help, they came to the ground and they spoke to the families. The families also helped console the lads and also the wives, and it was just a tremendous spirit and atmosphere up there of one big family.
Liverpool went on to Wembley, comforted to arrive in the company of friends. Another Merseyside final was a kind of therapy in itself.
Rush! Goal! 3-2 Liverpool. Ian Rush gets his second. Liverpool are FA Cup winners for the 4th time, and they hope that the championship is still to come to give them their second double.
But that was not to be. Liverpool brought the cup home, only for Arsenal to break in and steal the championship virtually from the Anfield sideboard. Last season, the story was reversed. Dalglish drove his team to Liverpool's 18th league championship, a reaction to FA Cup defeat just one step from Wembley.
Thorne flicked it on, and it's gone in! Pardew! 4-3 Palace!
This season, it was not until December that the Reds lost their first league game. When questions were asked about team selection, about Beardsley's absences, about unexpected signings, Liverpool gave their usual answer. Look at the league table. They've lost only one of their last 13 games, but they've won only 4. They're still in the FA Cup, but only on a wing and a prayer.
Houghton. Oh, and Russell. Oh, it's an own goal. It's an own goal on the far post. Liverpool have been saved in injury time.
Pressure there has undoubtedly been. The scars of Hillsborough are deep and perhaps slow to heal. The demands of the fans are unrelenting. The views of critics analysing every hint of decline can hurt. But how curious that the pressure should take its toll, with Merseyside still vibrant with the excitement of an unresolved FA Cup tie, momentous even by their standards.
The challenge by Staunton. Plays it early to Rush. And he lost it, the Everton skipper. Rush in on Southall. And off the line brilliantly by Hinchcliffe. Beardsley, and it's deflected off the goalkeeper and into the other corner. Hinchcliffe. Shot! Yes! Grobbelaar had hands on it, but couldn't stop it going home. Burrows having to go back a long way, and look how Liverpool are being harried. But they still keep their cool. This is Beardsley. It's still Beardsley! Oh, what a goal! What a goal by Peter Beardsley! And that's a nice one, Nicol! second to.
Rush in front of the goalkeeper. Played back again to Mulvey. On by Rush. He's done it again. His 24th goal against Everton. Southall as we move into the last minute. Ablett wins it. Down to McDonald. Not sure that Tony Cotty's had a touch yet. He might get one now! A penny for your thoughts. 3 waiting, one of them is Hussein, and it's in from John Barnes. Well, he's entitled to think perhaps when we can play like that. How is it that we've been pulled back 3 times? Hinchcliffe. Becomes the 3rd man on the night to score twice.
Right, now we'll go to this story about the resignation of Kenny Dalglish. The league champions and league leaders by 3 points are due at Kenilworth Road this afternoon for their final appointment with that dreaded plastic pitch. But they've been stunned by the departure of the manager of 5.5 years. Jim Rosenthal has been getting first reaction from the team preparing at Luton. Clive Tilsley's been out and about in Liverpool. And Mark Tyler starts our report with a look at the events leading up to yesterday's shock announcement.
Kenny Dalglish has enjoyed a 14-year love affair with Liverpool. His European Cup-winning goal against Bruges, the outstanding highlight of a brilliant playing career.
The cover was there, but so is Souness there. Will he get a shot in? Now Dalglish across the face of the goal!
A superb playing record matched only by his success as Liverpool manager. Since taking over after the Heysel disaster in '85, Dalglish led them to a magnificent league and cup double in his first season. Since then, they've won the Championship twice, the FA Cup once, and Dalglish himself has been Manager of the Year on 3 occasions. They're impressive statistics. No wonder Dalglish has become an expert at cracking open the champagne over the last decade or so. Liverpool are on course for more silverware this year. Another League and Cup double is still a possibility, although Everton will have other ideas in the Cup, while Arsenal are their main Championship rivals. Liverpool have been beaten in the league only twice. One of those defeats came at Highbury, where Dalglish's controversial decision to play 5 at the back couldn't stop the Gunners putting 3 past Grobbelaar. Dalglish also had to watch from that familiar position as his side suffered another defeat in London. This time it was Crystal Palace who took the points, allowing Arsenal to close the gap at the top and set up another potentially thrilling end to the season.
It's in there!
Recently, the Liverpool manager has been criticised for leaving England international Peter Beardsley out of the team. It's been a situation highlighted by Beardsley's ability to make his mark when Dalglish has finally decided to use him.
Now Ablett. Beardsley up alongside him, and so too is Rush. It's there for Beardsley!
With the end of the season just 3 months away, Dalglish's decision to retire a week before his 40th birthday took the football world completely by surprise. He gave his reasons for leaving at a press conference yesterday.
I've been in the front line and for 20 years, and it's just really a result of 20 years active involvement in football at a very high and successful level that really kind of reached a person has pushed himself to the limit.
What did you try to do to dissuade him?
Everything possible, but not only dissuade him, but also to attempt to ask him to sort of, could he, you know, carry on for a short while towards the end of the season.
Did you offer him a break with a chance to come back?
Yes, but he made the point it wouldn't work. If Kenny was missing from the game at Luton, he wouldn't, you know, there'd be speculation where he was then.
Well, he completely fooled me and Roy. Like, we were with him a lot, and he never gave no impression he was going to pack in or the pressure was getting to him.
The first task for Ronnie Moran and his boot-room partner Roy Evans was to supervise a training session at Luton yesterday. A private session besieged by the kind of press and media attention that Dalglish finally got a bellyful of. Peter Beardsley's uncertain role in Kenny's recent plans became a focal point for his critics in print and in the crowd. But as they left Kenilworth Road for the sanctuary of their hotel, all the players were quick to play down any suggestion of a dressing room revolt.
The man had a job to do and he did it to the best of his ability and what he thought was right at the time. Yeah, I've never ever said a bad word about him, and I won't start now.
Do you feel, though, that the criticism about you and about you not being in the team might have been a reason for him going?
Well, I hope not. I mean, didn't give that idea today. I hope not. I mean, because I would never want to. I mean, as a fella, I got on with him great. The only sort of beef I had was not being in the team, which is a beef that anybody would have in my position. At the end of the day, it's been hard for him because people have been, in many ways, getting on my side, trying to say I should be in the team, which has been nice for me. But obviously that hasn't helped his situation.
We have our arguments in the dressing room, as every club does. Nothing's gone overboard and everyone's still speaking to each other. The lads are baffled by what the gaffer's done, but it's nothing to do with what's going on in the dressing room whatsoever.
I mean, nothing different than you've experienced in your 10 years at Liverpool.
No, it's probably been a bit milder this time than anything. We've had a lot bigger fights over the years in the dressing rooms, so it can't be anything to do with that, I wouldn't think.
The atmosphere in the club has been brilliant. I mean, he's been one of the lads, as he always has been, for sort of the 3.5 years I've been here. Nothing's changed as far as that's concerned. The only difference is we haven't probably played as well as we would have liked.
Well, he's one of the most successful managers in English history. You know, in the short time that he has been a manager. Very strong man. And maybe that had something to do with it, I don't know. You know, he was his own man, wanted to do everything his own way, and he got success from it.
The list of candidates favours an Anfield who's who. Outsiders needn't apply. Graham Sinstadt, John Toshak and Phil Neal have the managerial track records. But the favourites are those who are still inside the track. Captain Alan Hansen, reserve coach Phil Thompson and acting manager Ronnie Moran, the bookies' odds-on choice.
Odds-on job for the job? Well, I don't know. Again, I've got to wait and see what happens. I mean, the chairman's told me to take over the team selection at the moment, and then I've got to wait and see how things go on. And I mean, I've been at the club since I've left school, and I've been offered jobs right throughout, and I've got on with each job I've done, and I've had success with it. Well, who knows what can happen in this? I mean, it's entirely down to the players.
He knows the ins and outs of football. He's been there for 30 years or something like that, 40 years, I don't know. And he knows the ins and outs of Liverpool Football Club and football in general. I don't think he'd have any problems whatsoever if he did get the job.
Moran has the players backing then. Noel White says he's in charge for the foreseeable future. As long as that short-term future's a successful one, he's the man who best fits the chairman's bill.
Well, obviously we'd like to continue the tradition and the accepted and successful one of promoting from our own inside the club. Whether it's possible, we'll have to examine that one in the next few days.
Inside the club or somebody who's been inside the club?
Well, let's leave it there for the moment. That's where we think at the moment, possibly someone from inside the club. And after, well, there may be one or two others come into the reckoning.
Have you got a clear idea in your own mind as to what management team you would like to take Liverpool on from here?
No, we're not that far along that road there, Clive.
I've worked with some great managers. They've won a lot of things, and I've learned things off them, and I've got my own ideas. And again, I've got to stress, it's the reaction of the players. If I can get the players in the right frame of mind, and they'll do the job on the pitch, I'm hoping.
Well, it's interesting what Ronnie was saying, but it's amazing with Kenny is that if the pressure was too great, I mean, if he was losing it, he was questioning himself, as he's already said. And if it was the end of the road for him and he felt that way, one's got to respect his decision, even though it is the middle of February and not May, as everybody would like it to be.
Well, people want him to go on simply because they want, Liverpool fans obviously want to see the club carry on, stay at the top and stay in the cup. But if things were caving in on him, as obviously they have been, Jimmy, then I think he's quite entitled to say enough's enough.
I think absolutely, and I think he's made the right decision if that's how he feels. I mean, he has been under enormous pressure. He must have been to have made the decision, particularly, as we say, in the middle of February. But I'm sure it's the right decision in the context of how he's made it.
Yeah, John Barnes was saying Kenny, he's a very private person, and we know that
Yes.
from our dealings with the media with him.
Yeah.
I mean, he keeps everything to himself, and that is maybe the problem, Jim. I think some managers are very outgoing, they're very
That's right.
chatty, they like to talk. Kenny didn't.
Kenny always found it very difficult to deal with the media. We know that. He found it difficult to handle people like you and I who have been in the game. It was always a difficult one for him, and I'm sure that added to his pressure, definitely.
Well, let's look at the candidates that have been put forward. The Ronnie Moran, obvious choice, been at the club all that time. I mean, you know, Bob Paisley didn't want the job after Shanks and became the most successful manager ever, so maybe Ronnie could do the same. Phil Thompson looks after the reserves.
That's right. Alan Hansen, who we understand Kenny favours a little bit, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Well,
Douglas?
Big Alan, you know, I think was going to stay in the game anyway, you know, and maybe on the coaching side or whatever. And he's very affable, big fella, knows the game as well. So, I mean, that wouldn't be a bad choice from within the club.
No, it's a fair choice.
Now, of the others, John Toshak, I was speaking to last night over in Spain there.
He's 10-1.
Yes, now the Tosh said he wouldn't close the door on talking to Liverpool, but there's a little problem there that Sociedad have offered him a contract starting in June, and he's accepted that for 5 years, so he said that could be a slight problem, but not insurmountable.
Phil Neal's done very well at Bolton.
He has.
He's at 12-1. Then there's Glyn Hussein at 50,000 to 1 and Saddam Hussein at 50 million to 1. And of course, you must remember that there's Emlyn Hughes, you know.
In the background.
In the background.
Yeah.
Don't know how far.
Whatever happens, let us just say here, Jim, I think that we would like Kenny to enjoy his retirement for how long it takes. Get out on the golf course, Kenny, and get away from the pressures of it all.
I think that's it. Don't call it retirement because, you know, maybe he'll want to come back. But there's one important question. Who's going to get Kenny's anorak?
I'll get him to send it on to you, Joe.